Hi everyone, lovely Patreon subscribers and friends and foes on Facebook and Instagram. I just wanted to kind of reflect back on Samhain. So here we are, it's the 13th of November. It's my mother's 35th anniversary, and 3 days ago was my dad's, my very, very beloved dad's 11th anniversary. And November for me, this whole month of Samhain is filled with memories. It's filled with loss. It's filled with grief. It's filled with memories of trauma. Just right through the whole month of November, really bad relationship experiences back in the past, abusive relationships, the loss of one of my children through a mother and baby home experience and adoption, and both my parents, of course, a beloved elderly friend and spiritual mentor, and all of these things are all concentrated in the month of November, the month of Samhain. And yet I love Samhain. I love the actual festival of Samhain. I love what it means. And it's been intense, from Ihauna on Halloween night, where we lit our family fire and we did our little family ceremony and released that which no longer serves us, honoured the ancestors, invited them in, put out a glass of red wine for my dad, which he loved in the evening, and lit a candle at the ancestors' table out in our little hallway. And then two kind of more formalized kind of ceremonies, Druid ceremony at Kilkenny Druid Grove, of which I'm a part, which was lovely, really special. The 5th of November then, I had my priestess students here, and we had their training day and we had a ceremony there together. Then with my beautiful, beloved Curragh sister priestess, Elaine Doyle. She came around because she happened to be in Wexford, and we had a really meaningful, really deep, really powerful ceremony together in the Curragh garden and in the temple. And that was really special. And then on the Friday, I headed up to Ishnok, and I had that night setting up my tent and sitting by my little fire bucket outside the tent in the dark on my own, kind of connecting deeply into the land, relating to the land. And then the whole Samhain event the next day, doing some storytelling, sharing mythological stories and family stories connected with this time of year, and being part of the procession. Highlight was we roped in Anthony Murphy, Mythical Ireland, to be our bearer of the Douglas Cauldron into our little group carrying the 4 cauldrons up the hill. That was also special. And then a bit of time, on the hill, drumming for my friend Trasany Work, who's really beautiful guided journey session on the Sunday morning. That was really deeply special as well, really bringing us down into the energy. And she's an amazing guide altogether. And then home, and kind of into my dad's anniversary, my mother's anniversary, and where all of my personal kind of trauma is, it's all in my womb. It's all around birthing, pregnancy crisis. It's around loss, through adoption, through my mother and baby home stories, miscarriage. And here I am now in my 60s, 63 years old. And I had to go through a hysteroscopy there recently. It was an office hysteroscopy. I don't know how many of you women out there have dealt with this, but I have to say, for me, it was the single most painful, most traumatic, most barbaric thing I have ever experienced. It felt like an assault. My body felt like it had been through an assault because the pain hit the intolerable levels in whatever way they kind of gradate them. Um, they had to abandon it before they got a biopsy. And so then it went to a scan. So my womb lining is thicker than it should be, which at my age, postmenopause, is something to be checked. And then yesterday I was in the hospital for a pre-surgery assessment thing. And on the 5th of December, I will be in the hospital for a second hysteroscopy, which this time will be under general anaesthetic. So they will get their samples, they will get their biopsies, and we'll see what's going on. But it's like, here I am, this is like, my firstborn, who was born in Bessborough Mother and Baby Home Convent, is 44 years old. So 44 years later, here I am, and it's back into this kind of womb stuff again. And it brings up a lot of fear. It brings up a lot of trauma. It's like, am I not done with this yet? And I just think it's very Samhain. And I'm really calling on our three powerful goddesses of this time, Tlachta, Maureen, and Ancailach. So I am praying for resilience. I am praying for strength. I am praying for success in whatever battle there is for health or for, whatever needs to be dealt with. And I think this is a season that is ongoing, and for all of you out there dealing with stuff, dealing with your losses, memories of grief, memories of bereavements, memories of loved ones, that's not even memories of grief and bereavements. They're always with us, and trauma, like any trauma that's triggered by this season of loss, of that other world being close. Not all our ancestors were lovely people. And if maybe you have ancestors on the other side who caused you harm, who were abusive to you, and you don't particularly want to welcome them in at this time of year, that's okay too. That's absolutely okay too. I think it's really important when we're dealing with the ancestors to go, I welcome all that is good, that is, of positivity for me and my line going forward. And I hold up my hand and I say, no, I will not accept any toxicity, any negativity, any destructive energy, any undermining energy. I will say, in compassion, because I don't know where that came from or what started that energy, but I will say, this is it now. This is enough. The buck stops here. And I send it back. Send it back with compassion, but I send it back. I will not carry it. And that's really important. Really important. And it's part of the work of this time of year. So I think of the Cailleach as kind of, just really powerful, kind of ancient grandmother figure, using her staff to kind of walk over the snowy hills, but also a tender of a hearth fire where she might welcome us in, where she's stirring her cauldron. And it's really important at this time of year that we put the right ingredients into the cauldron of our being, and only that which nourishes us into the cauldron of our being. So I'm being mindful, and especially in that kind of womb allegory, that the cauldron of my being is being nourished and kind of looked after at this time. And I wish the same for all of you. And so here I sit, as all my adult kids are out for the night. My daughter does an improv course on Thursday night, and her brothers have gone in to participate in it. And I'm sitting here by the fire with a little glass of wine and I might find a nice film to watch and just chill out now for a while. But these thoughts have been occupying my mind, and I thought I would share. And as part of that whole kind of Samhain vibe unfolding, it was incredible on uh, 2 nights ago, Tuesday night, to go to Dublin for the night and to actually be present for a screening of the Queena documentary. Wonderful. Kim Gray Ennis, who created this lovely short 15-minute documentary with an incredible woman who I haven't met but know of, and obviously is a co-participant in the same documentary I participated in, Phillida Anamara, and then myself and a group of women, two of whom were Currasush priestesses, Claire O'Sullivan from Waterford and Helena Brannock from Limerick, who participated in this circle of Keening women, which I facilitated. And then we did some filming out on the land, and there's a lot of filming of Phillida and her talking about the art of keening and what it means. But keening for me is really deep and really important, and it comes from my own grief experience. It comes from the loss that I experienced at an early age, and it is a really powerful tool, but it is to be used wisely. But to be in this beautiful little theatre, in Pembroke Place, site of the Focus Theatre, to be there 2 nights ago for Queena in the heart of Samhain, or this Samhain season, was very, very kind of meaningful for me. And I met such beautiful people there. It's absolutely incredible people involved. Kim and Celine and Margarita and Luke, and wonderful people. And yeah, I hope I'll be back there. I actually would love to do some mythological storytelling on that stage there. So at this point, I'm probably rambling, but essentially, Samhain is so much more than just one night. Samhain is a season and an unfolding of so much that we carry within ourselves, and a calling to the deities, a calling to the ancestors, a calling to the land, and a connecting with the land, and finding where the source of our nourishment, of our sustenance, of our healing, and our support is. If we can do that in community, it's amazing. But that support is there in the land. That support is there through the deities and through the ancestors, even if we are not in a network of community. So I think on that note, I will say Ihawa and continued Banachtaí na Hauna, or of Galer. Slán go fóill. Gra agus Banachtaí.